Obesity is a difficult concept to deal with as a society. People could be obese due to a ton of reasons, from having a genetic condition, the lack of access to nutritious food, mental health issues, hormonal issues, etc. We need to have a nuanced conversation, taking everything into account while discussing obesity. In the last two videos, we talked about how corporate greed is leading us towards obesity, how the change in food is boosting the obesity rates. If you haven't watched them yet, I highly recommend going back and glancing through them. In this video, we'll talk about the dark side of the obesity epidemic, a side not a lot of people are willing to discuss. One of the key factors we use to determine whether someone is obese, the BMI, is not a super reliable concept. You may have seen videos on why BMI should be replaced entirely and why it's utterly useless right now. First, let's try to understand what BMI is. It is the ratio of an individual's height to their weight. Let's say I'm 184 centimeters and weigh 70 kilos. My BMI would be 20.7. If I compare this to the BMI chart, I'd fall in the healthy weight category. As our weight increases, the BMI also goes up. The reason BMI is as unreliable as it is it does not take into account how the weight is gained. You could be gaining mostly muscle, be overweight, which is generally considered fairly healthy, but the BMI chart would still say that you're an unhealthy weight. This is exactly why BMI is often checked in correspondence with the person's physique. A medical expert will not, or at least is not supposed to estimate your healthiness purely by BMI. That does not make it wholly unreliable either. BMI is still an easy and effective way to track trends for everyone of an average physique, which is most of us. And you can absolutely use it to track how you're progressing if you're on a weight loss journey. Now, as we discussed in the previous videos, obesity is not caused by a lack of personal control, no. Obesity is not an individual issue. It's a societal issue with individual roots. The individual ideal weight is different for everyone, depending on their lifestyle, genetics, gender, body type, and an myriad of other factors. I can provide myself as an example here. Even though BMI states that my healthy weight is around 76 kilos, due to a genetic issue, if I actually weigh that much, I'll face issues with breathing during a sleep. Similarly, for some people, the ideal body weight is naturally higher, owing to a load of different factors. It is important to recognize this if we are to have a fair and free discussion on obesity. Here is where body positivity comes into play. Body positivity movement, in essence, is a social movement that preaches acceptance of the self and everyone despite the physical differences. On the surface, it's an incredible movement that everyone should embrace. We are all unique in our own ways and we have unique needs. Fat shaming and weight bias are two of the top things the body positivity movement fights with on a regular basis. You may have experienced this yourself at school, at work, etc. Overweight kids often undergo intense bullying from their peers, especially in schools, leading to them developing long-term mental health issues or insecurities. We, as a society, need to abolish this idea that just because someone is different from the expectations we set for them, it's okay to bully. Obesity is recognized as a chronic illness by the American Medical Association, and we need to treat it with the same gravity that goes into treating other chronic illnesses. Now let's get into the dark side of the obesity epidemic. While body positivity is great and should be embraced with optimism, it also led to the rise of some people claiming obesity is actually healthy and you should not work towards improving yourself, which is just blatantly false. There are several popular creators online who embrace this ideology and continue to drive their audience to believe that obesity is perfectly healthy. There are 2 points to this topic. The first, if you want to lose weight and get closer to the ideal image of yourself, you can't do it by hating who you are right now. You have to get there through loving yourself throughout the process. As someone who lost a lot of weight on their own, I recognize that this can be hard, but trust me, taking care of yourself always beats hating yourself to do something. You need to recognize when it's your time to start losing weight and tackle the process head on. Being obese, in most cases, is not healthy. We are excluding all the outliers in this statement and considering only those with average physique. So coming to our second point, these are the people who will see their quality of life dropping as they gain more weight. And leading your viewers to believe that this is healthy can be dangerous at best and deadly at worst. There are also some that label anyone calling for weight loss as fat phobic. This might be true in some cases, but not in the most cases that I encountered personally. When my doctor suggested I lose weight, he was trying to help me. He noticed my struggle and simply suggested a solution that would make my life easier. And it most certainly did. Losing weight improved both my physical and mental health immensely. Now, this does not mean you can just go to random people who you perceive to be overweight and suggest they lose weight. As we saw earlier, obesity is an incredibly complicated topic. Sometimes, good intentions can come off as nothing but mean comments. However, this fake body positivity influencers who are trying to drive their audience to obesity are harming the entire medical industry. According to the CDC, annual obesity-related care costs in the United States in 2019 alone were $173 billion, and we can assume it only increased since then with the rising obesity rates and medical costs. The situation is much worse in the United Kingdom, where obesity-related medical issues are putting an immense load on the already fragile NHS. If this continues, we can expect drastic consequences, like people who need the care not getting it due to budget constraints. We are already seeing massive waiting times in the UK for obesity and weight-related medical care, with cracks clearly visible in the system. As per a report from the worldobesity.org, we can expect the economic impact of overweight and obesity to cross $4 trillion, with some countries heading towards the majority of the population being obese. I would not be surprised if obesity becomes the new normal in many areas. In view of this, we just cannot afford to promote the idea that obesity is healthy and it's not a big deal. Yes, weight loss is difficult and it takes a lot of effort. Yes, there are some factors that prevent a lot of people from getting to their target weight that they cannot control, but intentionally driving your audience towards obesity is a war on health, on par of the anti-vaccination movement, and it should be recognized as such. As someone who was obese and struggled because of it, consider this a call of action from a friend. Now the question comes, what can we as individuals do to promote healthy living and combat the misinformation on obesity? The one simple thing we can do from anywhere is research. Whenever you see content on YouTube or TikTok or anywhere else on the internet, we must do the research on whether that content is accurate. We need to hold content creators and influencers accountable and ask them to provide valid medical sources for any and all medical claims. Science is the biggest arsenal that we have developed through thousands of years, and it's high time we use it for its intended purpose, improving life on Earth for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please share and subscribe. As a new channel, every little interaction helps us keep making the content we love. In the next video in the series, we'll explore the challenges faced by people with obesity all over the world. Don't forget to drink some water. See ya!